Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 14th day of January of the new year, 2025. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we're broadcasting at 103.3 FM. And if you've tuned in from anywhere else on the planet, you've probably gone to our website to listen, which is ksje.com, or maybe you've got one of those smart speakers and you've asked it to play KSJE, and that's what it is doing for you. So welcome aboard, everyone. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us. The video is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So great to have you all with us this morning because we are getting an update from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. There's lots going on these days and lots still to come, of course. The legislative session is top of mind for our friends at the Chamber. We'll be talking about that and other events that are coming up, so stay tuned. That's coming up in the next few minutes right here on KSJE this morning. And then, of course, at 8:50 a.m., it's our Adopt a Pet Tuesday segment, KSJE's commitment every week to animal welfare here in San Juan County. We'll hear about some of the pets available for adoption this week, including Zelly. That's the name of the cat you see on the screen right there, so stay tuned for that coming up today. Also, Mick Hess will be here roving with the arts, our weekday classical music program beginning next hour after the news at 9:06. A reminder, you can connect with us on X and Instagram, in addition to Facebook and if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.
Discover a new local program that you may have missed. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, despite the sun, it is cold outside. It's only 12 degrees at the moment. We are expecting a sunny day today, which will be nice, but still cold. 34 is about as warm as it's going to get today. 15 for a low tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine. 37 for a high. 42 on Thursday. 43 on Friday. Partly cloudy skies Saturday, Sunday, Monday, with highs again in the upper 30s to the mid-20s. Back with my guest with more right after this on KSJE.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, whose vision is to deliver world-class care, making life better for the communities they are privileged to serve. Offering a comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and emergency care services so residents can live life better here. San Juan Regional Medical Center, community-owned and operated, here for you.
Back in Studio A this morning with my guest, as I mentioned, Jamie Church is here from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Yes, same to you.
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
And as I mentioned, a busy time because I know you're thinking about the legislative session.
That's
that will
right.
be starting soon. We'll talk about that in a
Great.
minute.
Great.
Also, final call, I guess, for the Chamber banquet that's happening at the end of this month.
That's right. So that happens the very end of the month on the 31st.
Right.
So the last day
You can't
of the
get
month.
much more at the end.
Yeah, you can't. And there is a lot going on. You know, I think I've been talking with other chamber members and people about sort of the last 2 weeks of December were so odd because of the holidays right in the middle of the week. And so everybody got very off schedule. And then here we are back in it and back to the regular routine and lots going on. You mentioned the banquet. We do have a handful of tickets available. And you can purchase those through our website or just give us a call at the Chamber and we'll get you all set up. But this is our Best of Farmington banquet. And the unique thing about this is that we have several restaurants. We have 4 restaurants. They're listed on the screen. So we have Piochi Food Group, the Chili Pod, Nutri-Meals, Clancy's, and then 5 actually because the desserts are going to be with through the Bake Shop, which is at Artifacts. But it's unique in that these restaurants all create some very special appetizers, unique, creative appetizers. There's probably each restaurant is providing 4 or 5 different kinds, and so then you just go from station to station and you can kind of choose what you think looks good. So it's not a typical like plated where you're sitting at a table and then you're waiting to be served. So this is really fun. We did this last year and it was just it was so popular. It was so great. We decided we would do this every year for the banquet.
Right.
And this year we brought on a new restaurant, which is Nutrimeals, which we did because they are a chamber member, but they are doing some really unique things. They do catering. They told me what their appetizers were going to be, and they're really fun and sound delicious. So we're excited to welcome Nutrimeals to this event this year.
Nice.
And of course, we have live music by after midnight. But the real reason, the best of, is we announce our Business of the Year, our Citizen of the Year, and this year we added a new category, which is Nonprofit Organization of the Year. Because most of the nonprofits in San Juan County or Farmington are members of the chamber, and we realize they work really hard, and they're in that nonprofit category. So they're not a business,
Right.
a private for profit, but they do a lot for our community and our quality of living. And so we thought, let's go ahead and add a nonprofit category on and recognize a nonprofit as well.
Very
So
good.
we have 3 categories this year.
Okay,
Yes.
exciting.
Yes.
So we will find out who the winners are.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best kept secrets in
It is.
town leading
Yes.
up to the banquet. So
Yes.
I think everyone is pleasantly surprised at the announcements that evening. And the thing I like about the Best of Farmington food selections is nobody cares if you go back for like a third,
That's right.
fourth, or
Right.
fifth serving. So
What I like
it's very
best
nice.
about it is that when I stood back last year and watched after we got going, people are up and talking and moving around and networking and saying, oh, I haven't seen you since, last year. That's going to be everybody, but, and they're talking and moving around from place to place. So it's not just at your table. And it's just really fun. And somebody said to me last year, this is just like a great party. And I really want to keep that atmosphere going. So again, there are a handful of tickets. The tickets are $100 each, and that's a great event. The attire is just dress your best. So whatever your best is. And so maybe you could say evening cocktail attire, but it's just really a fun night. And it is the 31st of
There you
January.
go. Okay.
So coming up very quickly.
Couple weeks.
I know.
And then some. So
I
there,
know.
there you go, everyone. So again, just a handful of tickets are left, which is exciting that it's almost sold out.
Yep.
And it probably will be by the
Yes,
31st.
and
so.
we had a great number of nominations this year. So
Good, for all
even in
three
the
categories?
even
Nice.
in the nonprofit category, we had probably 11 to 13 nominations in the business category alone. And so we will have a slide, and it'll go out on our Facebook page and our website, showing everybody who was nominated.
Okay.
And I've been calling everybody who was nominated to let them know as well. So for everybody who put in a nomination, thank you. So we did
Right.
get a lot this year.
Yeah, very good. Well,
Yeah.
exciting. So looking forward to it. KSJE will be there because
Yes.
we're proud to be a chamber
Yes,
member as
that's
well.
right.
So
I've got your 2 spots reserved.
thank you very much. Thank you for that. So appreciate that. Very good. Tomorrow you've got an event happening, a Zoom room
Yes.
tomorrow.
This is one of our few things that is just specific to chamber members.
Okay.
Most of the other things we do, everybody's invited to, but this one is specific to chamber members. We do this on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. It's a Zoom online networking session from noon to 1. If you're interested and you're a chamber member, reach out and I'll send you the link. We do this because we know that not all of our chamber members can get out of their business. They're busy. They're
Right.
running businesses,
Right.
and that can be a full-time job, as all of the business owners know. But if they want to participate in some networking, share what they're doing, this is a great opportunity. You just log on at noon. You can even sit there and eat your lunch, and we have an hour of just networking. So that is tomorrow. And if you're interested, you can just let me know. You can email me at jamie@gofarmington.com, and I'll send you the Zoom link. I don't put it out just in public, so it is specific to chamber members.
Right.
So that is tomorrow.
Okay, very, very good. Before we get to the event in February, I do
Yes.
want to ask you about the legislative
Yes,
session because I know
yes.
that's what you've been talking to a lot of your members about and paying attention to. It's a 60-day session this year, which means there'll be more bills introduced, more time for legislators to
Exactly.
discuss bills and topics and things in our state. So what's come to the top, I guess, in your world?
Paid family medical leave, right
Again.
there on top. Yep, that's exactly right. And
Okay.
I do have some information I'm going to be sharing probably later this week on that. Paid family medical leave is the number one thing we're watching. Again, because the way the bill was written last year, it sounds like it's going to be almost exactly the same bill as this year. And we just have some concerns for businesses on who is able to take the paid family medical leave, who's eligible to
Right.
take it, how is it going to be funded, how is it going to be managed. In other states where this has passed, the fund itself has not been solvent after a few years. And I really want to emphasize that this is not because we don't want businesses to support their employees when those employees need time off. That is not it at all. I think most of our businesses that I know they want their employees to be able to take that time with families when family needs it, when their family members need it or they need it.
Right.
It's not that. It's just the way the bill is written. There is some concern over how, again, it will be managed, how it will be run, and who is eligible to take that. And again, for our business community, we want them to understand what this will mean for them. It's not going to go into an effect immediately.
Sure.
So even if it passes this year, I think it doesn't actually go into effect till 2028. But the bill has just some things in it that are a little concerning. So we're watching it very closely. I do have some information I'll be sending out later this week, but that's the number one thing that we're watching right now.
And interesting that the bill that was introduced last year that didn't pass, you would think it would change a little bit from
Yes.
last year to this year,
Right.
and not be
Right.
exactly the same. Maybe it's changed a little bit. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I'm not even sure the bill has actually dropped yet, but
Okay.
we're watching. And of course, I belong to a great connection of different chamber members throughout the state, and they're wonderful about sharing information. So I think as soon as we know a little bit more, we'll be able to see it. My understanding from several Zoom calls I've been on is that it does look quite
same.
like
Similar.
last year's. And I was on a Zoom meeting, a webinar with a group that is in support of the bill, which is fine. We also want to hear from our chamber members if they're in support of the
Right.
bill. But there's just a couple things in it that are a little bit vague about who is family, who is eligible to take this leave. And again, it's 12 weeks of paid family medical leave, and it doesn't have to be taken in a 12-week chunk.
Block,
So it
right.
could be taken in 16 hours or 8 hours or overtime. And so trying to track this, and then how is it going to be administered and how, so there's just a lot of questions we have about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Very good. So you're watching that. That's
watching
number.
that.
That's number one.
Watching that.
What else are you hearing about that the legislatures will probably be dealing with?
Well, I think we're still looking at some of the bills around what am I trying to say? The hospital, the doctors with the
Medical
medical
malpractice.
malpractice.
Yeah.
That is still there. I know that there were some things that kind of held it off a little bit, but that is still a concern because what we don't want is to see our state not be able to attract physicians, but actually pushing physicians out
Right.
or medical practices out because of the high medical malpractice rates. So that is something we're
Insurance.
also watching. Yeah,
Insurance rates.
Yes, sorry, insurance rates.
Yeah.
And the awards that are, given in the state. So we are watching that very closely. Because again, that affects businesses wanting to come here, people looking to retire here, that, medical access to medical care is top of mind. So we want to make sure that we have a lot of physicians and things like that. So there's just a concern with that bill. Will it help to bring physicians here or not? And so that's another one we're watching again. Doesn't fall exactly under the realm of what the chamber's mission is, but in the big picture it does.
Sure.
So yes.
Got it.
So, yep.
Very good. And I've heard, from some folks who say, the high cost of having medical malpractice insurance in New Mexico is something that keeps maybe some physicians from starting their
absolutely.
own practices or, joining with a larger group or things like that just to be able to
Yes.
protect themselves when they go into business.
Yes.
And obviously, if someone's accused of malpractice, they
Yes.
should be punished or there should be
Right.
penalties. But
Right.
it's got to be
It's-
affordable to protect yourself.
Right. And they need providers. And so if the
Right.
insurance rates are too high or the awards are too high, then where are the providers going to come from? So there's a lot of questions about that. And again, not in my realm. I don't have all the the knowledge on it, but I've been to many meetings on it, and we're trying to make our state attractive to people moving in, and we don't want to put things in place that make it less attractive for physicians, for retirees, for businesses, all of these things. Are we going to be a business-friendly state? Are we going to be a retiree-friendly state? And so those are things we're looking at.
Sure. And we saw some of that last year, I think. If it was last year, I think it was, with the Social Security income tax law that was passed and signed, and that makes it more friendly to retirees and things,
good
right?
Good thing to retirees. Absolutely. That was a good thing. We were one of only 13 states that was taxing Social Security and pension income. So that was a great thing that they did finally, because I know that had been in conversation for years at the legislative session. So that was a good thing that was passed. So absolutely, that's why we look at these, and we'll be sending out a survey at the end of the week. We really want our business members, our chamber members, to respond to that survey, and that's going to help us making our, moving forward with with the messages we take to to our elected officials, to the legislative session. So that survey will be going out the end of the week.
Okay. And again, you and a bunch of other folks from the chamber will be making a trip to Santa Fe. You do it every year.
Yes, we do.
And talk to me a little bit about that trip. Do you go in and do you have meetings with the delegation?
We do try. And so I have a group going. We'll be there for the legislative reception and business day, which is all happening on the 27th. So I'm actually going up on the Sunday before. We're trying to meet with our elected officials, although they kind of already, we know how they stand on it, but still, we want to meet with them and remind them that we're here, San Juan County, Farmington, in the northwest corner of the state.
And not every delegation maybe works the same way as ours does, and is in contact with you throughout the year.
Right, exactly. And of course, we had our legislative breakfast December 4th, and we are in contact with our delegation. But so we'll be going there. There's a legislative reception, as I mentioned, the evening of the 27th, but there's also a business breakfast, and that's the morning of the 27th. And so that is an excellent time to hear from what the state. So sometimes the governor speaks at that breakfast. Sometimes it's the lieutenant governor. It might be somebody from the economic division up there. So we hear from them, and we listen. What are they seeing? What are they saying? And that helps us take some messaging back as well to our chamber members here. So that will all be happening on the 26th and 27th, and then we come right back and we have a banquet 3 days later.
That's right. That's true.
Time to drink a lot of coffee for me.
Yeah.
But here we are, 2025, and we hit the ground running. This is why, we're constantly looking at what's coming up in 3 months, because the year just goes so fast. All good things, great things that we're happy to be involved with and we want to do. But boy, it's a lot off the bat.
Very true. And the other point I wanted to make about the state legislature is that it seems yet again this year that the state has lots of revenue coming in.
They do. Lots of revenue.
Thanks in some part to our friends in the oil and gas industry. It does provide a lot of revenue to our state. And it seems like the lawmakers, the biggest problem they have is just how to spend it all, which is an amazing problem to have.
That is an amazing problem.
Because it seems like it wasn't too long ago when they were really struggling and there wasn't a lot of revenue floating around. And so to be able to do some of these things, which I think is where some of this legislation is coming from, how do we make lives better in New Mexico? How can we use some of these funds to make some of these things, these big changes to help the quality of life in our state, and what type of things can we do?
Right.
But again,
on the paid family medical leave, it's not
Right.
it's not the state paying it; it's the employees and the employers paying into the fund. So that's what we're looking at and how that works. And yes, we do. There is quite a surplus, and again, oil and gas. That's where the majority of it comes from. Education, the education budget. So that it's an important industry, and we're always looking at what they. And I know that they have their own group that goes up during the legislative session. Again, it's a 60-day session, and does really good work in trying to promote the oil and gas industry in New Mexico. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be it always is. So Yep. Hold on, folks.
Hold on. Buckle up. That's what we say. That's true. And there's been, again, a lot of great legislation for early childhood education.
Yes, there has been.
I think there's a lot of talk about mental health and some other facilities and putting money into the rural communities and things like that. And so all those things I think are good and well-meaning. And so, again, I think our lawmakers do a lot.
They do.
For nothing, because they don't get paid.
They don't get paid.
And I think they're one of very few, if any, other legislatures that work for
per diems.
That's right. And we have some brand new legislators.
That's true.
This is their first
That's
year in
right.
their ssession. Senator Steve Lanier is, this is
Replacing
his first year. Steve Neville. You
Replacing
got
Senator
to slow
Neville.
down when I
That's
say
right.
that because their
Yep.
names are similar. And then, of course, we have Bill Hall going
That's
into
right.
the House of Representatives. He's replacing Ryan Lane.
Yeah.
So we have new legislators in this year as well. And so it was really fun to talk to them at our legislative breakfast in December, just about, what they were expecting. It's a lot, I know. And I know that there's a lot of bills we never even hear about. I think Steve Neville said that there were sometimes up to 3,000 bills or something.
right.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting process.
It is. It really is.
Appreciate those who do it.
Right. And again, for the public that is trying to keep track of some of these things, again, I think the state tries to do a pretty good job of at least having a website
They
that
do.
you can track a bill.
Yes.
But again, sometimes they go to committee and they never come out of committee, and that's where they kind of die for that
That's
year. So you really kind of have to pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
To follow these things. But it'll be an interesting 60 days.
It will.
And thank you for taking the thoughts and concerns of the business community here to Santa Fe with you.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot in the business community. Again, they're busy. They're running businesses. I'm amazed sometimes when I'm talking to people that they're not aware of some of these things because they're in their day-to-day.
Sure.
And so that's, I feel, a real responsibility of the chamber and Four Corners Economic Development and our elected officials, our board of directors through the chamber, is to help get this information to our business owners because they don't always know.
Right.
And so I take that responsibility pretty seriously about how do we get this information out and how do we hear back from our chamber members so we know what is front of mind to them. So,
Right.
and that we can help get the information to them. So,
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I would just say to them, just 30 minutes. That's all I ask. Just watch this show. 30 minutes once a month. Me and Jamie, you'll get
Yes.
all the news you need to know.
That's right.
Even if you can't watch it at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, you can
There you go.
do the podcast anytime.
That's right.
Do it
Anytime.
before you go to bed. There you go. You're all set. While you're
You're
on the
right,
treadmill.
though. You're right, because we do bring the most important things. You
Yeah.
know, but what was it? 2 months ago, we were talking about the BOI. Now that's sort of been paused a little bit. That's
Mm-hmm.
the beneficial ownership and information because there have been some lawsuits that have come up around
Right,
that.
right.
But that deadline originally was December 31st, and I don't think I talked to a single LLC or business owner who knew they had to file that. So that, we do try to get that information out.
That's right.
And we work very closely with the SBDC and Four Corners Economic Development to find out what's going on and share that information.
Exactly. So thank you for doing that.
Of course.
And again, it's a big job. And again, we appreciate the leadership from the chamber and
course.
your members and your board for
Yes.
putting all that together
Yes.
each and every time.
Yep. Speaking of the board, and
Speaking
this
of the
wasn't
board.
even on the. So one of
That's
the
right.
reasons I'm holding off on putting anything out on the survey on paid family medical leave is that we just got our slate of directors for
yeah.
our 2025 board of directors out there. And this is something else you can only participate in if you're a chamber member. So we have a board of directors, and every year some of they do a 3-year term, and so some of them go off. Some of them choose to run again for another 3-year term, and some just aren't able to continue. And so we just sent out the slate of the directors, and our chamber members get one vote to approve that slate. So they're approving the entire slate, not just individuals on that. But that just went out, and so we're kind of holding off a little bit before we send out the survey. We don't want people, getting confused on what what we're sending out, because I know we send out a lot. So anyway, that our board of director elections just went out.
Okay.
So if you are a primary contact, meaning an owner or the primary contact with our chamber member, please be on the lookout in your inbox and just take a moment. It's just a link to a survey, and you just are either approving the slate or you're not. But 4 of these directors on the slate are returning. So
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, very good. Thank them for
There you
stepping
go.
up again.
Yes, I know.
For
We appreciate
leading the chamber. That's very true. Before we run out of time,
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
there is a Focus on Farmington coffee event, the first of the new
Yes,
year,
yes.
coming up in February. Not this month, but next
That's
month, right? Okay.
And before I get to that, I don't want to forget
okay.
to mention Business After Hours. We have the first
Oh.
Business After Hours
Yeah.
of the year. That's on the 23rd of January at Sunglass downtown in downtown Farmington, West Main. They have a brand new showroom. And so going to be lots of fun. They're going to have a DJ and food, drinks and prizes and everything. So that is the 23rd.
Okay.
And then
Thank you.
February.
And Sonny will be dressed up?
I don't know. Maybe he better. It's really cold out there. He better dress up.
All right.
So,
Okay.
and
Thank
then
you.
yes, our first focus on Farmington Coffee of the new year will be on Valentine's Day,
Aw.
February 14th. We want you to go downtown and show some love. See how we did that for our brand new small independent bookstore, Quill and Quest, which is located right downtown in the old Andrea Christina's building.
Right.
And it is now a bookstore, which I'm so excited about. I've been in there several times. And so that will be on the 14th, 9 a.m. It is free. There will be some fun little Valentine treats and, of course, coffee. And we hope you'll do some shopping and support that new bookstore down there.
There you go. And maybe wander around downtown while you're
That's
down there,
right.
and
That's
look at what
right.
else is available. But that's exciting. I think, a lot of folks have a fondness for that space.
Yes.
And it's been empty for a long time.
It has
So
been empty for a long time.
Nice to see something there, and even nicer to see that it's a bookstore there.
It is a bookstore.
Because it has
and
a history of
yeah,
that.
exactly. And they're going to have, eventually they will have a little coffee area. So they're still
Sure.
getting built up there, but it's great to go in and look at the books. I've made many purchases there because I'm a big reader. And so this is exciting. So again, show some love, come on down the 14th of February at 9 a.m. And then, like you said, stay down and then walk around the other downtown stores. I mean, it's just great downtown right now. The sculpture, the art that's in there. Right now is not the best time for the landscaping because we're in the middle of
Right,
winter,
true.
but they've done a great job with those, the islands in the middle. They look beautiful when everything's in bloom. So kind of the wider sidewalks. It's just a great space to walk around. So they've done a really good job. But we love all of our chamber members, our small businesses. If you're interested in hosting a coffee, just reach out and we'll get you on the calendar. So
Sure.
we do one business after hours a month for the year, and we do one focus on Farmington coffee a month for the year. And we're happy to work with you to figure out when you can do yours and get that on our schedule. So
There you go. But these events are free,
Yes,
and
they are.
You can show up and maybe bring someone new to town.
Yes,
that was the
absolutely.
original idea, was to bring newcomers to town and introduce them to other folks and network a little bit and
Right.
show them new places, which is why it moves around
That's
to
right.
different areas in town. So it's a great thing. And again, I think a lot of us have a fondness for downtown. I know the Chamber supports every business, no
Yes.
matter where you are, East
Yes.
Main, downtown,
Yes.
20th Street, doesn't matter.
Matter.
But I think all of us have kind of a fondness for downtown, and it is kind of the heart of any community.
It is.
And the health of a downtown kind of emanates out to the health of the rest of the community,
That's
I
right.
think.
I think so too. And we are lucky to have such a neat historic downtown. And there are new things popping up down there. There's new stores coming in. There's great restaurants down there. There's a lot down there, and we're glad to see so many events happening downtown. I know there was a big car show last year. Of course, we've had Chili in October down there the last few years. There's Christmas parade, those merchants down there. It's really, but we want to support that downtown.
Sure.
And as you said, we want to support all businesses. Doesn't matter if you're on East Main. We've got a great new boutique. We just did a ribbon cutting in December that's located here on Pinion Hills Boulevard, here on the east side of town. Really cute new boutique. So now we're lucky that we've got one in downtown, and now we have a new clothing boutique right over by my house.
seem to know a
at the
lot about
college.
these
I know.
locations,
Lucky
Jamie
me, I get
Church.
to just shop everywhere. But what my point is that not every community has kind of a neat historic downtown that has
Right.
those options to do. So it is fun to see what's going in down there, and just encourage people, come down to the coffee. If you can't make it to the coffee, go down to the bookstore some
There you
other
go.
time.
That's right.
They're open, all the time. So,
Yeah.
but we do hope you will. And you're right. If this is a free community coffee, everybody is welcome to this. There's no charge, and it is a great thing to invite somebody that just moved to the community.
Right. Bring them down and show them what we're all about.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you are. Jamie Church, great to see you.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you very much. And again, Happy New Year
Thank
to you.
Same
and
to you.
everyone
Go
at the
Bills.
Chamber.
I'm just going to say it,
Oh,
even
nice.
though
Wow.
his Buffalo Bills beat my Denver Broncos on Sunday. It's okay. We're still friends.
Yes, we are.
So there you go.
That's all right. But glad to see you coming over to the bright side here. So. But Denver had me a little worried there. That
I
first
know.
touchdown. So
I
I'm
know.
Just saying.
At
But
least we scored.
you did. That's right. But we'll see how the Bills do. They're still the Bills.
crossed,
But, we'll see. Anyway, thank you, Jamie. We'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Jamie Church from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce, my guest this morning here on KSJE.